Welcome to Café Racing Garage. I am Dan, giving you the skills and inspiration that you need to build a motorcycle you can be proud of. And today we are finally putting the CB750, as you can see behind me, back together. This is super exciting. I can't wait to get this thing finished. And in a very short time, this thing's going to be completed. And I'm super excited about that. We've got a ton of work to do. Let's get into it. Well, that kind of went in way too easy. It wasn't even a challenge. If you've seen me trying to get this thing out of the frame, that's a different story. So the main frame and swing arm have been powder coated, whereas the rest of the components and bolts and bits and pieces have been Cerakoted. Cerakoting is an extremely hard, or if not the hardest coating you can get, and it is perfect for this and keeping everything rust free for a very long time. I've tried a few different powder coaters over the years, but I can tell you that not all powder coaters are the same. Unless you're getting pool fencing and security doors done, don't just take your bike to any old powder coater. Make sure you do your research, and this is the reason I'm using 74 Works. He takes care in what he does, he enjoys what he does, and he does a fantastic job, and that's why he's got such a good reputation in this industry. And after getting the bike back and seeing the quality of work he does, everything that I get coated now is going to go straight to him. Between putting the CB750 back together and a few off-camera projects I've been working on, I'm also having a Halloween party for a bunch of my close friends. So I have redecorated the entire inside of my house, made a few props and had a bunch of fun doing it. So these props are really inexpensive to make. I just used fence palings and pool noodles for most of them. So Halloween here in Australia isn't really a huge thing, but I thought it was a good excuse to get a bunch of good friends together and just have a few drinks, a few laughs, and just enjoy the night. Although I'm not showing every single step of me putting every bolt onto this bike, just be mindful if you do this yourself. Make sure you torque it up to the right setting, use the nylock nuts or even the Loctite, and also greasing every single bearing that needs to be greased. I've had questions in the past when I've done like just the mock-up assembly and people have said, oh, you haven't used grease there. Well, sometimes I don't really need to because I'm not actually riding the bike, it's just a pre-fitting. But this is the final assembly and this is where it needs to be done. After putting everything together with the engine that's painted and the powder coated frame, everything's looking brand new. I started to put some of the components on which I wasn't going to get coated, like the rear brake caliper for instance, and after putting it on, it just started to look a little bit tatty and I didn't want that. I want it to look brand new, the whole bike to look brand new when it's finished. So I decided to rebuild that, pull it all apart, send it to the powder coaters. So 74 Works is doing that for me. And it really is the small details like this that will make all the difference when it's all back together. Just waiting for those parts to come back from the powder coaters so I can continue putting this bike back together. Also, a few parts that I've ordered from cmsnl.com. If you don't know who they are, these are the guys that I use for all of the bits and pieces because it's OEM quality. It's new old stock or stuff that's been put back into manufacturing that is popular. So definitely worth checking them out. So this is quite an easy mistake to make or be overseen, but when you start to put things back together after they've been powder coated or painted, you will have to grind some of those little places off just to get your grounding or earth back. I want to thank Mitch from 74 Works for a little tip of using electrical tape or even heat shrink, but when you're putting the nuts and bolts and everything back together, it saves taking the coating off. So this section here houses all the electrical components, and what I want to do is put a bit of a design on the side of it. Built Design and Motorco actually has drawn this up for me so I could see what it would look like on the bike. He's done a fantastic job. So I made this little cardboard template to try and get it pretty much put on the bike. Now the bike's sitting here in front of me and I can sort of see what it's going to look like. It's going to look really cool, but once I make it and put it on the bike, we'll go from there and see if it actually does suit the bike at all. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out this playlist right here, which is more on this bike, as well as hearing it running and me riding it for the first time, as well as when part 2 is ready, I'm going to leave it right here.